Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here. It's early on a Saturday morning and I got up to do some housekeeping in my craft space, and one of the main things I did was label probably about, let's see, I don't know, maybe 20 layouts that I've done, a few more maybe in the last couple weeks. And one of the groups of layouts I numbered and labeled was the group of layouts that I did at the Collective Creativity Spring Retreat in Charlotte, North Carolina, hosted by the lovely Heather Little of Heather's Crafty Life. And this was an amazing few days. I sat among some of the most talented scrappers out there, and all of them fun and generous and really a great group to hang out with, even if we didn't get so much pretty work done. So I thought I'd go through a few of those layouts quickly. I won't dwell a whole lot, but I kind of wanted to have a video where they were all highlighted. The first one I'm going to do is one that's actually not finished. For the most part, on most of my layouts, you'll see that I'm using the May Mind the Scrap kit. That's all that I took. Those are the only, I took basic scissors and glue and pens, but the only paper and embellishment supplies I took were the Mind the Scrap kit. I picked up a few things, my gift from my secret sister, some giveaways from other attendees, and things on the giveaway table. But I'll let you know when a layout was done with the Mind the Scrap kit versus when it was done with free supplies from others. Here, the load prompt was to tell a story, a family story that has been handed down. And the story that I plan to tell on this page is how my dad and mom met. And it's kind of an interesting story, but as you can see, I don't have it typed up yet, and I don't have the photo here. So I'll get that done. I didn't have the scripty word mother that I wanted. I thought surely I had it somewhere in some of the alphas around, and I went around to other folks, but it ended up getting cut on a Cricut or a Cameo, and I love how it came out. It's the B side of one of the papers in that kit. So this is one that I have yet to finish. I'm going to put it off to the side. There's a Chinese little takeaway box there because my mother grew up in China, so I found a way to fit that in. And their first date was at kind of an amusement park beach area, so I included the cotton candy. Otherwise, I might not have found a use for those embellishments. Okay, on with the others. The first layout that I actually did the night before the retreat started to meet the load prompt about telling a story about goals or a time in your life that you wish you could go back to. And I actually had two photographs here that printed. Obviously at a retreat, you're restricted to the photos that you have with you unless you take a printer with you, which I did not. So I had this photo of a sunset in Honduras on a trip we made to Roatan in 2000. And this is a cutout of the two of us on what was kind of our honeymoon. A year or so after we were married, we went to Maui. And so I just superimposed that, popped it up, stuck it on there, traveling together is my all-time goal. The time I wish I could go back to, or the time that I sometimes think I'm still in. Here's something that actually moved on the layout. That happens when I handle them, oddly enough. When we were young and healthy and newly married and had successful careers and good incomes and all the world to see. And the magical moments that I'd love to live again and plan to. This one, again, with the Mind the Scrap May kit, using various stickers. I think this heart was about the only thing that didn't come from there. And maybe this clothespin might have been something I picked up on the giveaway table. But this was, the load prompt there was to tell a story that had a different ending than what you expected. And this was when we took the whole family to a baseball game to honor our friend's mom, who was active in a charity. And the kids kind of got tired out in the walk around the bases, and Katie and Ava decided they didn't want to stay for the whole game after we'd walked all the way up to the nosebleed seats. And so we went home and had pizza by the pool instead. And it was a wonderful evening. The delivery guy had to find us in the dark because even the pool lights weren't working. So we kind of got around. But you can find pizza in the dark if you're these ages. So that was a fun page to do. This one was, I brought along some pictures. This was at a Jimmy Buffett concert and the next night at a Braves game, both events celebrating my husband's birthday. So I called this one Birthday Buffett and Baseball. And everything's the May Mind the Scrap kit, other than this You Are Magic button and these alphas, which were on the giveaway table. And I love those alphas. Those are Bella Boulevard. And I've managed to pick up several colors. So even if I run out of letters, I can usually form a word or a title, as in that case, with multiple letters. This one is one where I'd intended on printing one picture. And I printed this one, and it had streaks. I needed to clean the print heads on my printer. Had streaks and was dark and not a good photo. So I decided to reprint it. When I reprinted it, I forgot the size that I printed it, so I ended up printing it smaller, but it's nice and clear. And I decided to go ahead and filter it and print it as a film strip with roughly this idea in mind. And if you've looked at my layouts for a very long time, you've probably seen this as kind of a go-to thing, a film strip and then a photo at another angle. And I decided that I'd go ahead and use this because, I don't know about you, but I have trouble throwing away photographs, even if they're bad. So I decided to just kind of partly cover it up, do some embellishments. You can kind of see the mud on her arms. This frame and all of these embellishments came from the Mind the Scrap May kit. Including this beautiful sparkly paper, and above all else, sparkle when what she's just done is run through the mud. It just seems like kind of an interesting counterpoint. I love, love, love all of these little embellishments that came out, these stickers that came out of the Vicky Bouton sticker pad. And I like stickers to have some dimension, so I just kind of stuck them on a piece of foam. And this is probably one of my very favorite pages, and it actually made Mind the Scrap's Show Off Sunday, the Sunday after I first published it. So I love it. Okay, this one was done with lots of the Mind the Scrap May kit, plus some papers that were from the freebie table and a roll of washi tape from the freebie table. A lot of the embellishments were just chosen because they were blue, because I was doing the blue page for the Inspired by Memories Rainbow Challenge that went for the month of May. And what just made me decide this was going to be my blue layout was that beautiful blue slide that she had just finally come down and landed on the little mat and then was taking off to go back around. And I just think this photo of her is so cute with those little sunglasses that were always kind of halfway on, halfway off. We'd gone for Starbucks, which was her favorite place to hang out. And what I decided to do with this blue layout, I run a challenge at Secret Not Secret monthly party, scrap party, and mine is called Getting Messy with Scrappy Kathy. And so what the challenge was here was to take a monochromatic layout, which was, this one was obviously blue, and then add 10 or more elements in a different color without changing the look of the layout. In other words, not without changing the main color story of the layout. So what I did was add gold, and I have gold, this gold glitter, a gold star, some gold, and one of the embellishments you had to add had to be messy. So I added these the Heidi Swap Color Shine gold. I just kind of splattered them all over. Had some tiny little gold stars. And mind you, I had not brought anything to the retreat that was gold. So everything you see here came from the freebie table or was given to me by other attendees. This little arrow from a sticker sheet in the freebie table, these alphas with the gold that are, you know, part gold, this gold twine, these tiny gold stars, this gold label, gold heart, another chipboard gold, this word strip, love you to the moon and back, the gold star, gold sequins, and this little kind of sequin chain that moves. All of those were freebies and acquired at the retreat. So I love this layout. I love that picture of Ava, and I like all the blue and the gold. Just kind of, the gold makes that blue look bluer, in my opinion. Okay, here's another one of Ava at a playground. We used to have an RV, and we kept it maybe 40 miles north of where we live, and we had to go up and start it every now and then so that the gas didn't go bad if we hadn't used it in a while. And Ava loved to come with us because there was a playground nearby, and we always took her to the playground. So here she's climbing this. I love this photo. It's not very clear, but I love the pattern that the netting makes. So again, Mind the Scrap May kit, except for this piece right here. This is a mixed media piece that I did. You see it on my Scrappy Kathy logo, and actually you'll see it on my, I use that mixed media piece to print my labels. And so I use it a lot, but the colors were just perfect for the elements that I had left in the sticker sheets for the Mind the Scrap kit. This was this beautiful holographic star paper. It definitely shows up as beautiful in filming as it does in person. And then there are kind of holographic elements on these houses. I think these are from Sparkle City. And I think lots of on this page are from Sparkle City. Okay. This one is kind of a fun one. The Secret Not Secret had a challenge to use I think 10 tags on a layout. So fortunately, I had brought a tag punch with me. It's the only punch I took to the retreat. So I punched out tags from a 6x6 paper pad that was on the freebie table, and used it with this crazy picture of my son and grandson at the Warrior Dash, where they get these helmets, and then they brought them home, and I've taken a few cute pictures of Ava wearing it. So I thought that I like this side of this paper, but I decided to use this side because I wanted that black and white and red look, and then I did the Heidi Shine and had some gold arrows in there. Not sure that that was part of the challenge or that was necessary, but I kind of liked it. So this is probably one of my favorite pages because it's such a goofy photo, and the layout kind of adds to the fun there. Okay, this one is, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I love torn papers, but I kind of went overboard here. And so I'm actually going to do a video maybe later this week where I take this apart and use those papers in a different way. I don't want to lose the patterns, but it's a picture of my granddaughter at her then job. She since has moved on, and I like the colors. I like the idea because the colors are kind of dark and uninteresting in the photo. I like adding all of the pastels and the busyness around it, but just not the, if I'd torn this one in, I don't know. There's just nothing I like about this page. So I'll put that aside. Actually, that's going to go into the redo pile along with that one that I have to add the photo and the journaling to. Okay, this one is maybe one of my favorite layouts ever. There's not much to it. It's very minimalistic for me. A few little tiny drops of Heidi Shine. These butterflies were fussy cut from a single sheet of paper, the larger ones, and then there was another sheet of paper that had smaller ones, so I decided to change the size there. This was for a color story challenge by Scrapping Amy at the Secret Not Secret party, and I used miscellaneous papers that went with her color scheme. This photo was the only one that was appropriate for her color scheme. Her color scheme had the aqua, the emerald greens, and the corals. I just thought this paper, and I was very lucky to find that on the freebie table. But it's about how since I've become a grandma, my Mother's Day gifts are really awesome. And these were some beautiful flowers that I just got this year for Mother's Day. So that's a favorite page. This one is I printed this goofy picture of Ava, and she actually edited it. The picture was in color. She edited it with something that made it black and white, and then she went over it to recolor the jeans, and then added this little like a word strip that says whoa. And she did this when she was, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years old. So this, I just kind of did a goofy page here with various and sundry things, the mix of things. I think this may have come from the Mind the Scrap kit. I know this came from the freebie table from a chipboard set of chipboards that I actually put out there. Same with this one and this one, but I kind of took them back. Just a simple page, but because of the background and the mix of colors, the yellow, the black and white, and the red, I just think it kind of stands out. Okay, this one was from a fun challenge that we did where we took photos that we didn't mind someone else scrapping for us, and Dolly Boyd had prepared page kits. We each kind of randomly, blindly drew a photo and selected a page kit, and then set about scrapping someone else's memories on a page kit. This one was done by Helen Tate, who is Heather's lovely mom, and she had there was a red tag up here that I actually wanted to use a different way somewhere, and I thought I would take it off, and it actually came off fairly cleanly. I added a notation that Helen had scrapped it and when. What I haven't added is any journaling about this. It's a photo of Katie and Barrett back in the day when they used to live far away from us. We'd go on their dad's weekends or weeks, we'd go pick them up, and they would always fall asleep in the back seat of our car. So I love the colors here go nicely with what Katie's wearing. So I think Helen did a beautiful job, and I hope she doesn't mind my stealing her red tag for something else. It has a heart on it, and I have just an idea of how I'm going to use it. This one, I'm not quite sure if there were any challenge requirements. I know that I did a grab 5 or a tic-tac-toe that required clouds, and so I added everything that was on. This is an original that I made with a round sponge applicator and distress oxides at the fall retreat. Same retreat. I made this original, and then I used a stamp set that Heather gave us as a gift, and I scanned it, and I've used it at different sizes on several layouts. This may be the 5th layout that's had this design on it. And this time I actually used the original, because the original was kind of just sitting someplace being hoarded, and I didn't want to keep that up. So I think in this I think among the requirements here were to use washi tape, and so I have some here and here, both of which I got on the freebie table. Tags, and I used my tag punch again, a doily, puffy stickers, the clouds, which I stamped, and then markers, which I used to outline the clouds, and sequins maybe. I honestly couldn't tell you what the requirements are. I'll have to look it up. But I thought it would be a fun way to showcase this photo of Katie and Barrett modeling t-shirts that were made by a friend of the family in honor of the hashtag Ava Strong that everyone's putting on notes about Ava and her journey fighting leukemia. So it was a page that could have been down, kind of down and low, but I wanted to perk it up. This one was one highlighting a couple of my favorite spring irises, and they're purple, of course. My favorite color is purple, and that applies to scrapbooking and the garden. And I actually had been out to eat and was near a Tuesday morning and found a tablet that had this purple map paper in it. and I was determined to use it on my purple page for Inspired by Memories. I had a couple pages, a couple other purple patterns that were from the freebie table, and this gold and purple stripe I thought would be great. Diagonal stripes, I think, really frame photos well, especially when you don't want to take away from the photo, but you want to add just a little bit of sparkle. And I found this these purple alphas in a sticker book, and Dolly loaned me some stamps that I could use to spell spring, and you'll notice those same butterflies that I fussy cut from another sheet of paper. So this ended up being for a stamping challenge that Heather sponsored, and for the Inspired by Memories purple color page for the rainbow challenge for the month. And probably my favorite flower photos ever. Okay, the last page I made at the retreat was for the orange page for Inspired by Memories Rainbow Challenge, and there was a tic-tac-toe that went with it, and again I'm going to try to see if I can remember the elements in the tic-tac-toe. I think there was stamping and watercolor background, so I used some watercolor crayons that I got as a prize earlier in the weekend, and I did that on a sheet of photo paper, which in retrospect I'd say not to use, but it was just a strip of white paper that I had, and I didn't really want to blow a sheet of white cardstock, so I happened to have cut that. It was leavings from cutting out some photos that I'd printed. And I picked up these stamps from the freebie table of this frame and this camera. And I decided to stamp over my watercolor background, and it, as you may or may not be able to tell, it wasn't completely dry. But it left it with a look that was in contrast to these circles and this authentic paper background. So again, I pulled all the orange things I could find. I think one of the requirements were clouds, so I used the teal as my accent color, but hoping that it still looks like an orange page. And so that was that. This was I think there was a load prompt about what your dreams are for the future. So I have my list of dreams here: to travel more, eat right and track, exercise regularly, and do 3 and 4 so that I feel good for 1 and 2, and rinse and repeat. So that's the last page I made before I got back on the road. Hope you enjoyed seeing those. I'll try to do another flip through once I get the table cleared of some other challenges that I've been working on. So hope you enjoy. Bye.